Hi, greetings, Christy. Here is your critique for your project 2. Hopefully we've got all this stuff settled here with flickering and have you connected. I see that we got you in the group now, so that's good. All right, so looking at this project, we're looking at shutter speed, thinking about that. Painting with light can be a lot of fun. Can also be kind of a challenge too. I do like that we have some interaction here between two different things, like these little squiggly things here, and then this light. And it's kind of interesting how this one feels sharper and this one feels softer. However, for me with painting with light, I often like a interaction between the objective and subjective. And what I mean by that is I like to see like something kind of photographic, like an object, a house, a person, or something, and then see an interaction with that light, that what we can do as complete artistic freedom with whatever we can do with our hands and that light, and draw and sketch that out. I see like a little bit here, and this is probably accidental, but I almost like to see a little bit more information there. Otherwise, if we just take this alone, I might actually crop this off here, and that becomes somewhat more active. I don't want to take too much of the negative space off. Somewhat more active, but I like it when we get more interactivity. Grayscale, it was more interesting, more dynamic in color, so we'll move along. This is kind of interesting here. Like I feel like I'm seeing an object on the edge here, and the depth. And that's, certainly we have a flatness in this one and the other one, but this one, I like that I begin to see some depth. And this light almost feels like an object itself. So rather than having some photographic object, we create an object that is somewhat objective in and of itself. And this has some space. This is just flat squigglies. I'm not really interested in those over there on the right side. I'm very interested in this. And, honestly, if I were to crop this down pretty tight, like take half or 3/4 of this down here, I think that is much more interesting and engaging than this dialogue, and because this goes back to my idea that there's not a lot of interaction between these two things either, other than the light. Looks like you use different light sources. That's great to explore that. Well, that's about it. It leaves me flat artistically, so it seems more like a technical exploration. But if we crop this down, this almost in and of itself can hold a photographic sort of interest, simply because of the depth that's added, and I can almost see the object, the thing that's making this light, and that becomes more intriguing for me anyways. And grayscale, better in color again. So now this one becomes more interesting, because I do get a sense of a figure coming out of that, and I really kind of like it. It's almost like two figures holding hands, ghosty. And then there's this yellow fading to black over here, and it's kind of radial, and something dynamic, mystic. This image holds my interest. This is interesting. I like this one quite a bit, actually. I'm not sure if I have too much black here, or if I need it because, I don't know. I might actually crop a little bit off the left side, and I don't know. Then I might leave the right side. Somewhere in there. I really like the form zone. I like what you've done in the light. That's really interesting and engaging. And again, better in color. You don't know till you try, right? So. All right, so here we are. This is a really interesting perspective and photograph, and it's kind of jarring. It's this parent perspective, looking down on your kids. I love the light. I love the shadow. I love the figures, the shadows back here, and this light cutting across here, and the shadow back here, and the forms here interacting, and their motion, and their activity, and it really just has a lot of movement and energy and engages me and activates it, and I just keep moving around all over this composition, the high contrast, the textures of the concrete. Nice photograph. This one is also interesting too. I like that, I obviously get the sense of kids playing in water, but then the blurring of the heads becomes really kind of interactive and engaging and energetic, I think is the word I was looking for, nor those previous ones. There's a nice energy in there. I also like seeing the sprinklers. It's like their face is like the sprinklers. They're kind of splattered a little bit, and it's kind of interesting. And again, this is all about textures. This photograph's all about this texture, a little bit about this light, but mostly this image is texture. I like it. This is good too. I like You know, this transforms. Do we have a one where it's like more static? No, we don't. That's fine. I don't think I'd like it as better. I was just curious at compare and contrast the images. I really like the composition, the sort of everydayness you've kind of are capturing here. There's a lot of energy in it and how you're doing it. So kudos to that. Good job to that. And you know, I like that we have the sharper figure here in the eating. Then here, there's all this energy, and then light background, more energy. There's a nice balance in that negative space as well in the positive space here. So again, nice black and white. Good job on contrast too, and density in the black and white photograph. Yeah, works well. I like this one too. I think I like the previous images better, but there's a lot of energy here, and there's forms and motion and action and light and movement, and you know, there's a lot of energy in this image. I just find the other two have a little bit more content. This is more almost abstract expressionistic or something like that, if we could be that way with photography. See, here we are. Now, this is actually still a pretty nice black and white photograph. Good job on that. You certainly have a sense of dealing with the black and white. I like this image too, almost as much as the previous one where I wanted to compare them. But no, this is good. So, all right, Christy, keep going. There are some of my thoughts for your second project. Let me know if you have any questions.